Hey everyone, it's Marla at Twinstrology.
And Angie from TwinFinity. Hey, Marla.
Hi Angie, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Excellent.
So we have a special video today, but before we get to that, for people that don't know us, let's tell people how we met or how
Yeah.
we know each other, for those that are new to our channel.
Yes. So Rob and I met you when we were in Chicago 2 years ago at a workshop. You were facilitating and we were participants, and we just absolutely fell in love with you.
Yep, vice versa, we discovered we were soul family. Now we've been doing workshops together the last few times.
Yes.
And I was lucky enough to be able to come and visit you in Calgary last July.
Yes. This past summer you were out and we had a great time. And you were amazing enough to offer to do a QHHT session with us both. So
Yes,
that's what we want to share today, because there's so many great information pieces came through on that.
yes. So the session itself, well, maybe we should explain a little bit about what
Yeah.
QHHT is first for those that don't know. So QHHT stands for Quantum Healing Hypnosis Therapy. And this was developed by Dolores Cannon, who did hypnosis for 50 years. And she developed a special style of hypnosis in which she leads people through a regression. I don't even like to use past life regression anymore, because as we connect more with who we are on a soul level, you can go into future lives, alternative realities, galactic realities. So you go to another timeline and you explore that. Sometimes you get to do a few timelines depending on what's coming through for you. And then we contact your higher self, and you're able to ask your higher self questions, and you are channeling the answers. And there's also a healing component. So there's lots of different ways that you can do past life regression work or hypnotherapy work. But I was really drawn to that because of these, several different components that are encompassed in it. And you've done a lot of different past life regressions, Angie. So what do you think about QHHT?
It's actually my favorite out of all of the different things I've done. So I've done life between lives regressions. I've done past life regressions. I've done beyond quantum healing hypnosis, which for those that may not know, it's similar to QHHT. It's just that the practitioner is not with you in the room. You're doing it remotely. So I've done that, and of course now I've done QHHT, and it is my favorite only because, like you said, you get all the components. So you're getting a past life regression, or like you say, it doesn't have to even go to a past life, but you're getting the regression component, you're getting the connecting with your higher self component, and the healing. So it really is a deep encompassing of so many pieces, and so much knowledge and information comes out of it, which I find just profound.
Yeah. And speaking of profound, when I did your session with you, it felt very profound. And
Yeah,
we both said that when we were done with the
yeah.
session.
That was our last words after we finished the recording. We were just like, wow, that was profound. And
Yeah.
what was neat too is my higher self came through instead of just as an individual, it kind of came through as a collective. So they
Yes.
were speaking as like a we, or everything was a group speaking rather than just an individual.
Yeah. And that can happen sometimes. So it's kind of like when Esther Hicks channels Abraham and it comes through as a collective. That's how your channeling was during your question phase with your higher self.
Yes.
And I could definitely tell that there was more than one being there.
Yeah. And it felt like that to me. It just felt very powerful, just a tremendous amount of energy and
Yes.
wisdom.
And because there was so much shared in your session, we've decided to post your session.
Yeah. Yeah. So we decided to share it because The thing I was grateful for is because I didn't have a lot of personal questions, being that I've done quite a few regressions, you brought through some other questions that were beneficial for the whole collective. And that's why we wanted to share this, because so much great information came through, not just about twin flames and the twin flame collective, but about New Earth and, you know, where we're going as a collective, as a humanity.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's beneficial to share with the collective because so much information came through.
Yeah, that was awesome. I was able to get your permission to just kind of ask questions as they come up, or
Mm-hmm.
as I felt, you know, guided. Sometimes you'll hear in the video, sometimes I'm playing a little bit of a devil's advocate, even just to like get your higher self to express more, to go deeper into something that they're trying to share.
Yeah, which I thought was great. You asked some really good questions. Really good questions came through. Well, in fact, one of my favorite questions that you asked was about, you know, in the twin flame connection, what do you do when only one of the twin flames is consciously aware of the connection? And how
Or
do you manage?
seemingly aware, like.
Yeah, that was such a great question because that's what so many people are experiencing in this connection right now.
Right, and your higher self had a great answer.
Yes, yes. So I'm excited for people to hear that and maybe glean some understanding out of that that might help them in their own journey.
Yeah. We also asked about, for example, are all twin flames going to come into union?
Right? Yes, that was a great question. And then you also asked, will they all come into union as like a collective, or is it little bits at a time? And some really insightful information came through on that too.
Yes.
So
We asked, how can twins propel themselves forward?
yes, yes. And I forget, there was another topic that I wanted to bring, because we talked about, there was New Earth, there was, I guess, the big shift that we're all experiencing. You asked about that too. And some information came through on that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, the shift that happened this fall.
Yes.
Um, and then people are going to hear at the beginning of the video, because we've decided the video is over 2 hours long of the whole session. And QHHT sessions, the hypnosis part usually is around 2.5 hours. The whole QHHT session itself often takes 5 or 6 hours. So it's very, you know, involved therapy.
Yeah.
So your session was over 2 hours. So what we've decided to do is to break it up into 2 videos, and we're going to be posting this part where we were speaking to this collective of beings that was coming through you
Yeah.
first. So when people first tune in, they're going to hear you talking a little bit about what you had just experienced in your past life.
Yes. So yeah, there's going to be some information about the lessons that were learned in that life, because that life had a lot to do with love. Interestingly enough, it was a life with my twin flame in a previous time. And so we'll post the past life portion in a separate video, but just so you understand kind of what the questions are about in the beginning, it's basically that I was learning about love in all of its forms, not just with one person. And so that's the insight that came through in the higher self questioning that happened.
Yeah, I mean, people will definitely be able to follow along and understand
Oh, for sure.
what we're talking about, but we just wanted to let you know that there is this past life, and we went very deep into this past life for you.
Yeah.
We just focused on this one life for an hour because you were getting a lot of information, a lot of details, and we even spent some time in the afterlife.
Yes.
That I think for people that are going to watch both parts, like that part was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And the healing that happens in the afterlife. Yeah. I can't wait
Yeah.
to hear that too.
And when they're listening, they'll hear about your own healing as
Mm-hmm.
well. So people will get a pretty good idea about what it's like to have a session, I think.
Yes, exactly. And yeah, speaking of which, if you don't mind, I'd actually like to plug you for a minute and just say, if you've not experienced a past life or a quantum healing hypnosis kind of a session, I highly recommend Marla. This was my first ever QHHT. I've had a BQH session before where, again, the facilitator is not with you in the room. And this was an incredible experience for me, and so highly recommend Marla and her services.
Thank you so much.
Can't say enough about it. So yeah.
I really enjoyed doing, like, both of us are very much into past lives, multidimensionality, all these other timelines that we have going on. And I've explored so much of that myself. You have as well, Angie. But I really love taking people on this journey, into their alternate timelines. And it's like, I feel like I'm there with you. I can often see what people are seeing.
Right.
So it's super cool.
Yeah. So I think we'll just put the links to your website and stuff below so people can find you, of course, if they're new to you, and they can have a session with you, because I think it's one of the greatest experiences is to meet your multidimensional self and understand that you're not just living this life. We have lived many times, we will live many times, and we have so many more experiences and so much more knowledge than we may remember at this moment in time.
Yeah. One of the things I love about this too is with the question and answer period that we go through, it's like you're answering your own questions.
Exactly.
There's no intermediary. You're not coming to a psychic and they're telling you things. This is you telling yourself the answers.
Yeah, from a higher perspective, which is exactly what you want, but because you want the more multidimensional perspective, because then it can help you advance and grow so much more and so much quicker.
Right.
So yeah, the insights that come through in these sessions are so powerful, so deep.
Yep. And I think people are going to see that with yours.
Yeah.
So with that, shall we let them get to the video?
Yes, enjoy. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them at the bottom of the video. We'll be happy to answer.
Sure.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you, Marla, for the session, and so awesome to see you again.
Thanks, you too.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Do I have permission to ask questions?
Yes.
I know the subconscious could have brought forth many different lifetimes for Angie to see today. And you chose to bring forward this lifetime for her to see. Why did you pick that lifetime?
So she can remember what true love feels like and help her embrace it fuller in this life. And help her remind people that love is what's most important. Part of her mission is to teach love. Not just to teach love between romantic partners, but that love of every kind is what we're here to do. And when she saw that life and understood that she relinquished everybody else's love, it's helping her remember that we're here to embrace all love.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many people on earth at this time that are just trying to find romantic love, but they're missing the boat. They're forgetting so much of the bigger piece. And if we all can look to the bigger picture of why we're here, and to remember that we're all connected and we all share love, it will help everybody on this earth to connect.
Sebastian in that lifetime? Is that someone that Angie knows in this lifetime?
Yes, it is Robert in this lifetime.
Mm-hmm. And so, how can Angie apply this lifetime to her life now? Is there anything you have to say to her about that?
She's doing a very good job of applying it now. It's also, again, to remember that her love with Robert is not the only love, but we must all embrace love in all of its forms, with the people that we know and even the people we don't know. The more we can all connect with and remember that we all come from the same love and the same light, the more we will all as one being bring that light back to earth.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a very important lesson to remember, to give and receive love to everybody, not just one person, not just one love.
But that love that Robert and Angie share in that lifetime and this lifetime, it's so strong, sometimes it overpowers everything.
What's really important is to take that love, and instead of letting it overpower everything, is to let it encompass everything and use it to spread more love.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just keeping it for the two of them to share it. See it like a blanket over the entire earth. And if everybody did that with every love that they have, not just the love of their mate, but the love of their friends and their family, if everybody spread that love around and shared it with other people instead of just keeping it for themselves, it would help the earth advance so much quicker.
Mm-hmm. Angie saw in that lifetime that she just went through that it affected the other people around her a lot, and she wasn't able to receive their love, and it created an imbalance in the relationships. So, as you say, by sharing our love, we help so many other people.
Yes. The more humanity can remember that love is the only point in really being here. We're here to love, we're here to receive love, we're here to give love. And it's through the love that everybody can remember their connection, their oneness, their unity. Union is not just meant to be with one person. Union is meant to be with everything and everybody. And the more everybody shares their love, the more union we create.
Mm-hmm. I think there are a lot of people like Angie in that lifetime, though, that have closed their hearts down a lot, numbed themselves, and so it's very hard for them to reconnect with that love within themselves, to share it.
Yes, but it's in sharing stories like this that people can reawaken that love and remember what they're really here for, and that they don't need to numb themselves. It doesn't need to be so hard, and it doesn't need to be so painful. People forget that you don't need to be physically connected with somebody to share love, even if you're not with the person that you want to be with. It doesn't mean you don't have to experience the love. If people were to open up their hearts more, they would feel the love. It's always there because love is truly all there really is. People don't feel that because they don't believe it. They think they need to be physically connected with someone to experience love.
Well, we live in a physical world.
So many of you have chosen to be here at this time to reawaken to the truth that even though you are in a physical world, love is an energy that is not physical. In its purest form, love is everything, it's everywhere, and it's in everybody. And it connects you all, and you don't have to be physically connected to feel love. If you remember the light in yourself, and you can see the light in another, you can share love, even from across the world, because there truly is no time and no space. And you're all here at this time to remember this and to teach it. The more you teach it, the more you help everybody else remember the same truths. And that is why more and more people are experiencing connections with people they've never met. They're experiencing unique synchronicities and magical connections. You're remembering as a collective that you are all one, and that you truly are all love.
Sometimes we forget. We're humans and we forget the power of love, how big love is. Is there any advice that you can give us to help us when we fall into those times? The depression, the sadness, when it makes it so hard for us to remember that love is there. Any advice to share?
Yes. You can simply remember a time when you felt love. Even in your sadness or your depression or your experience like Angie had in that life. If you can just open up to a time when you felt love and let that be your focus and expand on it. Remember it as if it was happening to you right now. And then as you feel that love, let it encompass your entire body, your entire being, and feel it so deeply. And then when you feel it and you feel the joy instead of the sadness, send that love out. Send it out to everybody that you know, even everybody that you don't know. Send it out to the universe. Send it out to your water. Your water is very conductive. So if you could imagine putting your love into your water, your rivers and lakes, oceans, imagine how fast that love would spread to your entire world. Imagine how much other people will feel it. Even people you don't know, you will impact them. So it always starts with you. Yes, you are human. Yes, you feel human emotions, and there's nothing wrong with that. You chose this dense energy for a reason. But you are also so much more than a human. And if you can tap into that energy, even just for a moment, just remember a time when you felt love. It could be as simple as a childhood memory, a gentle touch from someone, a hug that you received, that you felt love from. Doesn't matter what it is. Just tap into a moment when you felt pure love and allow it to grow. You have very, very advanced energy in you, and all you need to do is tap into it. You're very powerful beings. Just allow yourselves to expand your energy. Send it out. If you understood how small your earth really was, and how simple it was to send out energy, and to send out love and connect the entire grid. If you knew how impactful it was, you would do it every day. And you wouldn't get stuck in your sadness and your loneliness. It's easier than you think.
And whatever we put out comes back to us.
Yes. If you put out sadness, you get sadness. If you put out love, watch how magically more love comes to you. It's very simple, but humans tend to make it much more complex than it needs to be. Well, we understand that you say you are human. Often people use that as an excuse. They use that as a way to resist what is natural to them. You truly are not human. You are pure potential. You're pure light and love. If you tapped into that instead of tapping into the humanness, you could go so much further and expand so much faster. Remember who you really are. Embrace the light, the pure essence of your being. And that will change your entire earth. You're more connected on your earth than you've ever been. And the more you can see that you're connected and feel it, the faster everybody will experience that connection. Just take one, because truly there is only one. There is no separation. There's one love and one light. You each hold a piece of it. It really is the same love and the same light. So when you remember yours, you help others remember theirs. It's really not hard.
Thank you for that. Could you do a scan on Angie's body at this time and tell us if Angie has anything that she needs healing on in her physical body or her emotional or mental bodies?
Everything seems quite balanced, but her feet and her hands, she seems to be leaking energy out of her. It's draining her much quicker than it needs to.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to cap off those areas.
Very good. Thank you for that. Can you work on that now?
Yes.
Can I continue to ask questions while you're doing that?
Yes.
So Angie has a question about her purpose and her mission. Are there any details that you can share with her about this now?
She's just gained a great deal from this session. More will unfold in time. She already knows that. But she also knows she's here to teach love. She will be here to teach people about love in a new way that they don't even understand yet. So much of your love is in your DNA. And your DNA is all connected, even though you all think you're separate. You all see yourself with different DNA, different bodies, separate energies. But really, your DNA is all connected. It's all one big, long spiral of energy. And her and Robert will be teaching more about that. More about how people can be connected. More about how there truly is only one of you. When people understand visually how the energy of their DNA is connected, it will help people understand more. Because people are so confused right now about what it truly means to be one. What it truly means to be one love, one energy, one light. So in time, they will receive more explanation, more understanding of what it is they are to teach. But for now, we will just explain that it is about love, oneness, and the connection in your DNA that holds you all together as one pure love, one pure being of light.
Angie was wondering if what she was supposed to teach was going to have something to do with DNA. So that seems to definitely be the case.
Yes, she is correct.
Is this new information that will come forward when the time is right?
Yes. It is not something that your earthly understanding has grasped yet, or is ready to grasp at this time. So the information will come forward when the time is right, when people as a collective are ready for it.
Okay. So part of Rob and Angie's mission, is it involve traveling, or does it involve writing? Does it involve speaking to people? Can she know any of that information today?
Yes. So Angie already knows the truth, as does Robert. They've already been given visions and memories of their purpose. They both very much understand that they will be writing books. They will be teaching new information. They will be on the cusp of helping people understand the connection you all share in a very vibratory but also very scientific way that will help people understand why it's so important that love be at the forefront of everything that you say and everything that you do. So in time they will be writing books, they will be teaching, they will be traveling, just as they see that already. They are not at all incorrect in what they feel and what they see and what they know. There's nothing they need to do. It will unfold in time. They will be given instructions when they're ready and when the collective is ready. There's nothing they need to force. There's nothing they need to study or learn. It will come to them at the right time, and they will be ready.
Okay. So you say Angie doesn't need to do anything, but she was kind of wondering if there was anything that she could do to propel herself forward on her path a little bit more. Is that something she needs to worry about now?
Not at all. She's very good at following her inner guidance and knowing when it's right to move forward. She's feeling the lull right now and feeling doubtful because she's not feeling anything. But it's for her to enjoy right now. It's a nice little break. When everything is ready, it's going to be very quick moving. So it's wise for her right now to just simply enjoy the calmness, the quiet, but also for her to know that when it is time, she will be given all the energy she needs to do what she came here to do. There's nothing she needs to worry about or fear, nothing she needs to doubt. All of this knowledge is already inside of her. It will be unlocked when it's time. There's nothing she needs to do to push it forward. Simply needs to allow.
I was thinking, as you mentioned, about her having enough energy. I was thinking about that because I know sometimes Angie gets overwhelmed by the energy and has a hard time with that. So this is something that's going to heal before she goes into this phase of her mission.
Yes. She will not feel overwhelmed. She will certainly feel excited, and that will cause an overwhelm of joy. But we will help her manage her energies. She's already learning a great deal about how to manage, how to take care of herself, how to set appropriate boundaries so that she doesn't give too much. These are all good lessons for what is to come. She will be very well prepared. She's learning a great deal. She's well on her path and in perfect flow with everything.
Is the work that you're doing on her hands and feet going to help her with her energy?
Very much so. Yes. She tends to give too much of herself, and she leaks her energy. We're helping her seal it up so she knows when to give and when not to give. And this will help her a great deal with what's to come.
Thank you for that. Are you still working on her hands and feet?
We're nearly done with her feet. Her hands will take a little while longer.
Okay. Another question that Angie had is how can she most effectively stop or reverse the aging process?
We chuckle at this question, for this is actually part of what she'll be teaching. When you all learn how to embrace love in its purest forms, you understand that love is actually the highest vibration there is. And when you're in your highest vibration, everything is in its purest, most beautiful form. So you needn't worry about aging. You needn't worry about getting older, sagging bodies. Your bodies don't need to age the way you think they do. They age because that is what you believe is collective. When you understand how your DNA really works, when you understand the connection that love plays with your DNA, you will all see that age is only something you believe in. And you will start to understand that you don't need to believe in it because it's not really true. You can be any age you wish to be. You can have any appearance you wish to have. Again, this is a little ahead of what you're ready to accept as a collective. But in time, this will all come out. And your bodies will shift as your beliefs shift. So Angie will learn this in time. She will learn how to reverse the aging process. doesn't need to be with what you eat or what you drink. It simply needs to be with what you think, what you know inside of you. When each of you can truly tap into the essence that you are, when you completely remember who you are as a soul, as a spirit being, you will remember to tap into that, and it will change your physical form in enormous ways. That will all be in time.
I look forward to shifting that.
As many of you do, I'm sure.
So one other thing that Angie would like to know about is abundance, and how will the abundance come in to her life, and what is the best way for her to use that abundance?
So of course, as she already knew, there's things we won't fully answer, not because she's not ready, but we want some surprises. She's also designed it, so there's surprises. She loves surprise, and we certainly don't want to ruin that. She's very wise in knowing the abundance is hers this lifetime, as it is all of yours. Again, it's something you simply need to tap into. But when the time is right, everything will start to unfold. And much like fireworks, it will all just start to explode in beautiful ways. And there's again nothing she needs to do. There's nothing she needs to force. She doesn't need to buy lottery tickets like she thinks she does. It may come another way. It may come in the form of a lottery. That's all part of the surprise. All she needs to know is it will come, because it's already there. Everything any of you could ever want is already there. It's just a matter of fully tapping into it, fully accepting it, and fully embracing it. And for Angie, she has embraced abundance. And when it's time for it to really be in her life, in the fullest way that she sees it and knows it, it will be there. It will unfold all naturally and all easily. She doesn't need to put effort in it like she thinks she does. She simply needs to allow and accept. Just be open to it.
I think we all have questions about manifesting. Is there any advice that you can give Angie or myself about the best way to manifest things in our reality?
As humans, you try to force manifesting. It's almost like you think that the more you think about it, the more you force it and will it, the easier it will be there. While that's not untrue in some ways, the more important lesson in it all is to simply allow. If you understood who you really were, you would know you needn't force anything. You simply need to allow what already is. If you remembered the truest form of your being, if you remembered the godlike energy that you hold within you, you would know that you already are everything that you could ever imagine yourself to be. And instead of trying to force it, you could just open up to it and accept what already is. You would find it so much easier to then embrace it. Because everything that you want is already there. It's already within you. It's already around you. Every potential that you could ever imagine already exists. You simply need to open to it. You simply need to allow it and embrace it. It's more about letting go of the resistance and the things that hold you back than it is about thinking about what you want, because what you want already is. It's already there. Just be open to it. Know it within every fiber of your being. If you could accept that you are already abundant, and not just know it in your mind, but know it in every cell of your body. Accept abundance in every particle of your being. And you open up to it. You open up to that potential that's already there. And allow it to take form.
Thank you. Angie has a lot of interest in past life regression work, such as we're doing here today. Would it be beneficial for Angie to learn Qhht or past life regression techniques to use with other people?
It's certainly of benefit. It's not her future, but she's certainly free and open to experience and experiment with it if she wishes. Anytime you have a passion, it's your being's way of saying that's your path forward. If you're drawn to something, then simply do it. We always find it interesting how you humans question everything and doubt everything. If you opened up more, just allowed yourselves to be what you desire to be, allow yourselves to float down the path that you desire to be on. If you're feeling pulled there, go there. If you're not, don't. It's that simple. I find it funny how you humans make everything so much harder.
Well, we forget that we are powerful beings, as we discussed earlier.
Yes, we understand. We don't say these things in judgment, we just say them to remind you. The more you can understand, accept, and embrace the true essence within you. So many think it's outside of them, and they're reaching outside. They're searching in everything, everybody. If they just embraced what was already inside, their life would be so much easier. But to answer your question, it's not going to serve Angie's truest mission, but if it serves her desire, if it serves her interest, then absolutely. If you feel drawn to something, do it. If you don't, then don't. It's that simple.
Okay, thank you. So another question Angie had was about twin flames that are incarnated on Earth at this time. And she would like to know if all twins incarnated will enter into union in this lifetime.
So as we expressed earlier about union is more of a collective energy than it is just a simple energy of two people. When people learn to embrace union as a collective rather than union as a separate energy of two people, that is when they truly understand what union is. When people are looking for union just within themselves and one other person, they truly miss the point of what union is. And you can't have union with one until you have union with all. So it is not something we can truly predict because it's entirely up to each individual. It's entirely up to each individual to really understand that they're not an individual. When they understand that they are connected to all, and they're connected to every fiber, and every cell, and every atom, and everything that exists, That's when they will understand what union truly is. So it's not truly something we can predict that if every person will be in union with what they call their twin flame. Because we can't predict the future, because every being has free will and has free choice. Some will understand what union really means, while others may miss the boat this lifetime. They may not be ready to embrace the truth of connection with all, and thus they will not be ready for connection with one. In order to connect with one, you must connect with all. And we understand that that's a hard thing for some people to grasp. And there's no judgment in that. Everybody's at their own place, their own path. But when the collective embraces the truth of what union is, more unions will unfold. But will it be all? That's truly not something we can say at this time. For it is not our decision.
Well, has twin flames, how can I ask you this question? Will twin flame unions then happen as a collective? Will they all come together at one time? Or will they slowly begin to come together one by one as each one begins to understand what union really is?
Yes, it's for the latter. The interesting thing about what you are as humans is very dichotomous. In order to be human, you need to be separate. But that's really simply an illusion. So in your humanness of separation, you come into union when you understand the illusion of separation and that it is simply an illusion and not really a truth. So each individual in their individuated portion of a united collective can only come into union when they remember the truth that separation is an illusion. And not everybody will remember that at the same time. Before you are one, you have come into this life in individual portions of oneness, with your own different minds, your own different understandings. And when each portion of that individuated collective oneness understands and remembers who it truly is as a being of the entire collective, that is when union happens. So it can't happen all at once because not every individuation of that collective will remember its truth all at the same time. The more that remember, the faster more unions will happen though. And the faster they happen, the more it will happen. Because as a collective, as the more of you awaken to the truth of who you really are, the more light you spread, the more union energy you spread, which then touches everyone else. So it's very much like a collective grid, and as each light turns on, it shines more light to help each other light turn on, until finally all of your lights are on, and all of you are awakened and remembering the truth of who you are. Will that all happen in one lifetime? Most likely not. And that's okay. Each person gets there in their own time, their own way, and in their own perfect divine time for both them and the collective. It's a unique path of remembering that yes, you're individuals, but you're also one energy. And you're always working together, even if it doesn't look like it. You're always a collective, always in union, even when it looks like you're all in separation. That's the beauty of unity consciousness, is understanding that while you're all in separate bodies, when you can see yourself as one energy, even if you're in separate bodies, you will find it much easier to embrace union. In time, you'll all get there. There's no rush.
Is there anything else that is important for twin flames to do in order to propel themselves forward, whatever that means on their journey, besides understanding that we are all one?
The clearing that you're each doing is very important, because as you clear, you shed everything that is not unity consciousness. When you shed fear and doubt and insecurity, all of those other things, you're releasing the parts of you that are not truly you. The more you can release everything that is not you, the more you embrace what is you. And when you embrace what truly is you, that is when you embrace that you and another are one. And that is when you embrace unity consciousness. So the releasing, the clearing, the healing is all very important. We know that on the twin flame path, and we don't even like to use the term twin flame because it's limiting. On the path to healing, the path to divine connections, which all of you share, even if it's not romantic. But on those paths, the more you heal, the more you release, the more you let go of what you call karma, what you call your past lives, releasing all the emotions that no longer serve you. That is one of the best things that you can do. Because when you shed everything that is not pure light, you're simply left with pure light. And when each of you becomes that light, that is when you remember and then see in others the same light. And then you become unity consciousness. Embrace it further and further. So we know on what you call the twin flame path that there's so many that say you must do the healing, you must do the work. And people resist that. People don't like to hear that. But that in essence is the biggest, easiest, fastest way to get there. Release everything that is not you. And then it'll make it easier to embrace what is you. Embrace your light. Embrace your love.
Thank you. I think one of the hardest things about this path that on earth we call the twin flame path is that, at least it appears by our human standards, that one part of the connection remembers it so well and remembers the love so well, and yet the other part of the connection appears not to remember the love and doesn't seem concerned about the path at all, and that becomes quite confusing for us.
It's only confusing if you're looking outside of yourself. And you can look inside of yourself and you remember love and you remember the connection. Then it's easy to look at the other, and even if they don't at this time remember the love and connection, you remember that you're connected. And when you truly know you're connected is when you can see past the illusion of thinking another does not remember. Because again, all of that is illusion. The only thing that's really true is that you're all connected, that you're all part of the same light and all part of the same love. So if you're seeing another thinking they don't remember, that they haven't awoken as you would use in your words, you really truly have not accepted your own awakening, and you have not accepted your own connection with either yourself or others. for when you know that you are pure love, pure light, and pure consciousness. And when you truly embrace that, then you know everybody is, even if they are not reflecting that back to you directly yet. So the best way to deal with that when you feel like you're awakened but another is not, is to simply see them in the true essence that they are. Remember their light, remember their love, remember their connection to Source, just as you remember your connection to Source. See them for who they really are, rather than the illusion that they're reflecting to you. And that will help you move quicker. They're simply reflecting back to you what still needs to be released within yourself. When you become completely awakened and truly embrace the light within you, you will see nothing but light in others. You will not see the unawakened portions of them. You will simply see light in everything and everybody.
Thank you. Can you share anything with us today about New Earth?
So New Earth is not quite what most humans seem to think it is. Most seem to think it's a whole separate physical Earth. New Earth is much more of an embracing a truth within you. Again, it goes much like what we just said in terms of seeing the light in others. When you can really see each individual as part of yourself, part of the collective, and part of the Source consciousness of love, that is when you know you're moving into New Earth. When you can see everything as a gift, even if it's a struggle, even if it's hard, you can see the blessing in it. For everything in your life is nothing but a gift. Nothing but a beautiful blessing to help you on your path. When you can move further into that consciousness, that is when you know you're embracing New Earth. So from our perspective, we don't see New Earth as a whole other Earth. We see it as this Earth in an expanded consciousness. In a consciousness where everybody remembers the oneness that they truly are.
So there isn't just one event that's going to bring us to New Earth, but it's more about us remembering the truth of who we are. Do I have that correct?
Correct. Everybody will experience what some have termed the event in their own way and in their own time. There isn't one single moment, one single flash of light like some people describe. Because everybody is experiencing it in their own time. While there truly is no time, there is on your earth. In the human realm, you've created the construct of time for your own purposes. And everybody will experience that moment of light and that flash of beauty when they're ready, when they've truly embraced the connection with all. And everybody won't do that at one time. It's not meant to happen at one time. Everybody will get there in their right time, in their own way. And that is okay.
Will everyone on the planet awaken?
Most likely not in what you guys call this time, this lifetime. It would be too much for the planet at this point. The planet itself is still awakening in its own way. It too is releasing what no longer serves it. And it is taking time for the planet to clear its energy. And it would be too much to happen too fast if everybody awakened all at once, or even all in this time frame. There's no guarantees, though, for everything is always shifting and changing. So there's no one way to predict, but from how we see things from this vantage point at this time, it is unlikely that everyone will awaken in this lifetime. There will certainly be a big collective shift, though. More and more people are awakening, and the more that do awaken, and the more that can hold that light, it helps others awaken. So it definitely is a large collective awakening. But it is not time for everybody to awaken.
I sense that there's a very important shift coming up over the next 3 months. Is that anything that you can share about today?
Yes. We see great storms coming, moving, shifting around the earth. And all of that is going to shake people up in a lot of ways. And by storms, we don't necessarily mean physical earthly storms, but more energetic storms. And it is causing people to really be shaken up. And it's what some people need, because they're what we would call stuck. They're not wanting to move ahead. They're not wanting to move backwards. They're just almost paralyzed in one moment. And these energies will be very intense, helping people to really release things that need to be released so they can step forward. There's a lot of fear right now, and a lot of people that are either in fear or sadness, and almost paralyzing themselves. And these energetic storms will really help people release some things that need to be released so that they can move forward.
And that's a good thing, isn't it?
Absolutely. Sometimes people need a shake-up in order to move forward. In the moment, they may not like it, but when they look back on it, they will see what a gift it was for them. Everything is always a blessing.
Is there any advice that you can give light workers that are already starting to awaken their consciousness that perhaps are needed to assist with these energetic storms and what they will stir up in people?
Simply shine your light. Everybody's light is at a different level of brightness, and not because they're any better or any worse, because of course you are all equal. But everybody's light is at a different place simply by how much they've released, how much they've healed. But the point we're trying to make is it doesn't matter what level the person is at and where their healing is at. If they're awakened, just remember to shine your light. It's more about sharing love and shining your light than it is about what you say to somebody or what you do. Simply be there. Simply be a light for the earth, for everyone around the earth. That is all you need. When you're in your truth and in your light, you will naturally be guided from inside of you as to what to do. You don't need an outside voice telling you what's the best way to go. You will know within. So the best guidance we can give is just to remember your light. Embrace it and shine it, and others will see it. You'll be like a beacon for others. They will come to you.
Thank you. How are you coming on Angie's hands and feet? Is the healing almost done?
Her feet are completely done. Her hands were just finishing up. We just need to do a last few finishing touches.
Are there any other upgrades that Angie needs at this time?
We've also been working on her heart. Not really her physical heart, more her energetic heart. Just enhancing it so that she can allow more love in and so she can allow more love to be expressed through her. She's ready for another level of love. To be able to be a brighter light, to share more love. Now that she has released this last life that she's experienced and understood another piece of why love is so important, she's ready for an upgrade in that energy center to allow more love in.
Thank you for that. Well, Angie was curious about her lives on other planets and if she was able to connect with any of those lives on other planets.
She has experienced life on the Pleiades. She's definitely lived on other planets and other star systems. And in time, she'll get to experience some of that. She's already experiencing and remembering some of her Atlantean life. There's also some lives that people haven't actually defined yet, but Angie does remember some of her experiences on one of those lives, one of those star systems. She knows how to tap into that. She will continue to do so on her own. And truthfully, she doesn't need a lot of inner guidance on how to do that, or guidance from us. She will experience more and more as time comes about. She also knows that it's some of those lives, some of those star systems that she will tap into to help her with her mission. The information about DNA is not something that is new to her. As a light being, it's new to her human self. But as an evolved being, like many of you are at this time, it's information that's been in her a long time. She's here to bring it to the earth. But on some of your other planets and star systems, this information about love and DNA is not new at all. Some of you have chosen to bring these informations to Earth to help Earth evolve. And you'll each bring in your own pieces in your own time. Many of you have come with your own knowledge, your own experience from other star systems. And you will share that knowledge when the human collective is more advanced and ready for it. I say that like it might be years, but know that it might not be years. There's really no predicting time-wise because everything is evolving so much quicker than anyone had predicted. So it could be much sooner than years. The more of you that awaken, the more of you that do awaken, it's like a snowball effect that's happening faster and faster. Everything is progressing very nicely. So Angie will begin tapping into more and more of these lives and remembering more and more pieces that will help her with her mission. All in time.